hangout during Oktoberfest. By some amazing, amazing coincidence of timing, every single sales organization across all of Google has to have an offsite meeting in the Munich office this week. Who knows? I don't know. The stars must have come into alignment. But anyways, those of us who aren't in sales are here to talk to you about anything and everything having to do with Android development. So I'm Sparky, coming to you from Munich, Germany, and I'm also joined by Nick and Rich in London, UK. So hello everyone, welcome. It's Wednesday afternoon. Let's talk Android.
Yeah, it's Nick, Rich, and Matt. Matt? What's happened to Matt? Android, damn it, as always. Hey, how are you doing?
And he seems to also be at Al's house at the same time.
Yeah,
he gets everywhere.
And sat between us as
well. Matt's beamed up to the mothership for the week, so he's in Mountain View, so fast asleep right now, unless he joins the hangout.
That's a poor excuse, but anyway, he could be woken up. We should ping him. So as usual with these, we won't be talking about anything that's previously not been announced, but something has recently been announced that we can talk about. What time did that go live, that blog post?
Midday.
Midday today, a couple of hours ago. We announced that the Google Play Store has now had 25 billion installs.
We didn't sound that.
The Google Play has had 25 billion. No, we didn't plan that either. I thought I'd do it again so we could synchronize installs. And as part of that, we're having a promotion where 25 apps, games, books, movies, if those verticals launch in your country.
Yep, keep an eye on the Google Play Store. Later today, we'll be announcing which apps are going to be on sale, and books and other content as well. So keep an eye out for some celebrations and some bargains. Should be
live soon.
Oh my goodness. I can feel the numbers melting off my credit card already. when we had our 10 billion promotion last fall, when was it, November? I bought, I think, 56 apps during that promotion. I don't know what I'm going to do this time.
Spent $5.60 on apps. Jeez. Do you remember what they all were, though? I was in an airport with someone using Flight Track, and they go, wow, that app's amazing, I should get that. And they checked the Play Store. It turns out that they bought it during the 10-10-10 promotion. And never quite remembered that they bought it, so they were quite happy to see it as a purchased application.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll also be buying, I think, every single application during the next promotion, which is going to be running this week.
I have Flight Track, but honestly, I've gotten a lot more use out of Flight Control.
The game?
Yeah.
I think that says more about your travel habits than anything else, Sparky.
I must apologise for the quality of our video today. We seem quite pixelated. We'll try and sit very still, and hopefully that will help.
Dum-de-dum-de-dum. I'll be back in an hour, okay?
Sparky's got control.
I'm just right before we hit the broadcast, I jumped up.
There we go. First Nick, now me.
Yeah, right after I hit the broadcast button, I jumped out of my seat and smashed my Nexus 7, so it's no longer responding. There's glass sticking out everywhere.
Nick, we all know it's just the way you want to get some more credit for the Play Store sale.
That's every single app, like 4 times over, right?
Excellent.
So Al, I've been seeing some posts for you on Google Plus about AOSP.tv. What is that?
Yeah, it's a little project that started at the DevFest hackathon about a week and a half ago, taking the Android open source project, which is basically the way that you guys make Android available to the rest of the world, and making it more suitable for a TV. And one of the first steps was being able to use another device as a controller. So what I've shown is Galaxy Nexus and the Nexus S, both being the main gaming machine, both running Quake and sitting back with an Xperia Play and using that as the controller.
Nice. So you're connecting up a standard Android phone device and then using HDMI out to pipe its content onto TV?
Yep, that's exactly it. That's all I'm doing on that side.
And a second Android device to control it?
Yeah, so you can set your phone in front of your TV and connect it up, and then it uses Bluetooth to connect to anybody else's phone who wants to sit around and play games.
Nice. So you've got an old Android device with HDMI out sitting in a drawer somewhere. Why not turn your TV into a connected TV?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
So where my Nexus S is probably going to live for a while now.
Should the Nexus S have HDMI out?
No, how are you doing that? Because the Nexus S didn't have HDMI, did it?
I thought there was a connector that you could get for it. I've got one for the Galaxy Nexus, which is the MHL connector, but I thought that was backwards compatible with the Nexus S.
I don't think the Nexus S had it, because
Not that I recall.
presentations we had these hacked together Frankenphones with things soldered into the back of them.
Ah, looks like I'm going to have to go device hunting in my box for another one that's got HDMI out. Maybe my Optimus 2X will see the light of day again.
I think we've got a couple of tablets that might be a good candidate for hooking up to a TV.
Yeah, you're having to recompile the firmware, right? So
Pardon, Nick?
you have to recompile the firmware. Let me see.
Yeah, that's right. What I'm doing is the Nexus S and the Galaxy Nexus are both supported in the Android open source project, but so's the Wi-Fi Zoom, and Motorola have released a bootloader unlocker that will work even with the UK Wi-Fi one. So I should be able to get it running on that. And given the amount of changes that I've made, they're quite minimal. I could probably also graft it onto CyanogenMod, and that opens up a whole world of extra devices that it could run on.
Nice.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent work.
Thank you.
Look forward to trying it out myself.
So who is this who's joined us, who I've just muted?
Paul Hansen has joined us in the Hangout. I seem to recall, Paul, did you warn us ahead of time that you were going to ask us a stumper question?
Yes.
Oh, hello, Paul.
We're stumped. No, go ahead.
Do I have to unmute him first?
He just said yes. I heard him say yes.
Yeah.
So,
I heard that too.
question, Paul?
Let me see if I can find it in the moderator. I think it's this one. Well, this is said as coming from Pablo in Central England, but I thought this was Paul's question. Oh yeah. We read smart cards, FIPS, with fixed power on self-test time. Most need a second to complete. Android default NFC ISODEP timeout of 0.3 seconds is too short. Gingerbread, we can override this to 2 seconds, works well. ICS and Jelly Bean does not work. Any ideas? Ooh. If I had any expertise in NFC, I would share it with you.
Right, we need to get Trevor on the line. You need to ask this in the Mountain View office hours in 8 hours' time, because Trevor did a whole lot of work with NFC and wrote a superb app for scanning Mobile World Congress badges.
Interestingly, I went on vacation recently, and they gave us NFC room key. I did not do as Trevor did. I didn't reverse engineer it or turn my phone into a virtual room key or anything, but it was pretty cool to be able to read the data out of my room key using my phone.
Nice.
Gave me a really warm, fuzzy feeling about the security of this hotel room.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me at all on this?
I can hear you.
You're coming through now.
Am I sounding through okay?
Yep, great.
Yeah, so it's just that NFC question was a timeout issue between the different OSs of Android. With Gingerbread, we were able to override it, but the way it launches in Ice Cream Sandwich is it decides to time out before it informs the application. So the 0.3 seconds will not ever allow the certain types of card to be read and passed through. So I just wondered if there's on Stack Overflow they said that you can't adjust this, but I just wondered also for forward warning for future versions of Android whether we can increase the default to 1 second.
Yeah, so that sounds like a pretty specific question which I'm not really familiar with. Like, have you gone spelunking into the code base and found out where that's configured?
What you can do is on the ISO dep you can call .set timeout, and you can change that to any value. But the problem is the way that the NFC lifecycle is in Ice Cream Sandwich is it never gets called because it doesn't launch the app. So I can't. When you set on tag, it says in the documentation that also as soon as you close the tag, it reverts back to its default timeout of 0.3 seconds. But if you set it, you have to be in the code to set it, so you have to have launched the application. So that's the problem. The problem is the Android won't launch the application for those kind of cards. The old cards will work. The problem is all of the new cards are going beyond the 0.3 seconds, so we can't change the cards.
How are you triggering into your app? Are you doing it on NDEF Discovered or are you doing it on Tech Discovered?
Both.
And even on Tech Discovered isn't long enough for you?
Basically, I've got the code here. I'll have a look. I'm doing, so do the resolve intent on action discovered or on action tech discovered or on action tag discovered. It calls the same function.
Okay.
Then I get the tag. Object, and then I immediately try to call the set timeout. But in ice cream sandwich, I can't even debug, can't even step into that code at all. But on gingerbread, it will get there, allow me to set the timeout, and which will allow the rest of the process to continue.
I wonder if that's due to the lack of higher level APIs like Android Beam.
Don't know, but it's quite interesting that Gingerbread lets you do that. The problem is they've been demoing on some of the phones, and obviously you want to try the Galaxy Note and the S3 and things like that, and I keep having to dig out an old card to try and get it to work.
So does it work if you pre-launch the application?
It doesn't appear to work if you pre-launch or if it's launched from the tag event. I tried some tricks like making a static tag object and trying to hang on to the reference to set the timeout from a previous time, but I couldn't seem to get that to work either. And it sounds a bit like a bad piece of engineering as well.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference between just make this work and go to production with it.
Yeah.
At least I hope there's a difference.
So, failing a short-term solution, I'd like it to be considered for a future Android version. I could print out the default log.
Well, the right way
timeout.
The right way to voice that feature would be to file a feature request on AOSP.
Okay.
So if you go to b.android.com, which is a shop for bugs, there's a section there about filing bugs. One of the types of bug you can file is a feature request.
Okay.
So you need to report that to us, and it will get logged and catalogued and prioritized and everything, and so on.
Yes, because I think this problem will affect obviously the US primarily. The US cards will be like that, and increasingly in Europe. So it will kind of stop.
So is this an exotic kind of card then? Because I've never heard of this issue.
This is a card with security on it. So it's basically what happens is when the NFC event happens, it's powering up and doing a self-check. So these are. I think it's fragmented at the moment, but I think it's increasing. This type of card is increasingly in use, and there's no way around. We can't sort of change what cards people are using, sort of across the country, sort of thing. So
it sounds interesting. Could you?
It's the current standard. Sorry.
Yeah. Could you write up this issue as a post on Stack Overflow and send us a link?
Sorry.
Could you write up this issue? Have you posted it to Stack Overflow already?
Yeah, so I got it on Stack Overflow. There's a guy called NFC guy. He's quite good, and he knows his stuff because he worked with Android.
Yeah.
And he's had a few goes, but he said you can't do anything about it in Ice Cream Sandwich.
Can you ping us a link to it?
Yes, I will do. Yeah. Do you want me to paste in this window here?
No, because it'll go away at the end of this Hangout. Can you post it as a comment on the G Plus event of the G Plus?
Okay. Yeah.
This Hangout. That would be awesome.
No problem.
You can also post it in the chat. I usually copy those and save them to a text file at the end.
That's clever.
All right, I'll do both. I'll have a look at that. But yeah, I mean, at the very least, it'd be good if the default is at least 1 second, so it work with all kinds of cards, because this will be an issue in the US as well. But yeah, unless anyone's got any short-term ideas, I don't think it's that easy to sort out, because I've tried a bit of everything from Stack Overflow, so it's been something I've been looking at for a few weeks.
I'm not sure if anyone's actually dug into the source code there, but there is a service which controls the timeout for reading tags and things like that.
Okay.
If you can post a link as Rich and Nick asked for, what I'll do is I'll have a dig into that and see if there's a way to set it from a third-party application.
That would be brilliant.
Because there seem to be methods to set it, but I'm not sure what restrictions are placed on those methods and whether they're exposed to third-party apps or not. So it may or may not work.
Yes, because sort of putting a custom OS is only good for internal, but as soon as we go out to other people, we won't be able to do that. But yeah, if the app can override something, that'd be fantastic to look at. Cool.
Thank
you very much.
Okay. Should we have a look at the moderator for this week then?
Well, we've got a couple new people in the Hangout. We've got Sebastian. Is that right? And Richard Thompson. Do you guys have anything you want to talk about before we go into the moderator content?
Richard is typing.
Yes, please. Not this Richard.
100% of bug posting.
Both typing.
That's it.
While they're typing, maybe we can sneak in a moderator question.
We should do a Gangnam style dance while we're waiting.
Let's see, how are you guys doing? So Christo in Estonia wants to know, he says, I have a web-based game that includes purchase of digital goods. Do I still have to use Google Wallet for purchases? Sorry, yes. We understand that Estonia is not a Google Wallet merchant country, but that still doesn't excuse you from the terms of the Play Store, which is if you're hosted in Play Store, you need to use Google Wallet as your payment mechanism. There is the multi-platform workaround that we've discussed before, where if you have a piece of digital content that's equally usable in several different places, like say in the Amazon Music Player, the Apple iTunes Player, or Google Music, and the same digital purchase confers rights to all these different platforms, then we don't require you to use Wallet. But otherwise, basically our store, our payment method. Sorry.
Yeah. We have covered this before. There are some applications that are a grey area in this, and they're looked at by the editorial team or the abuse team, whichever one it is, and they make a decision on it. But generally, just stick to the guidelines. Unfortunately, if Wallet's not in your country, then it's not possible to use the in-app payment or the paid app system. You could choose to partner with a publisher in another country, or do something else, which enables you to have an account from another country.
Yeah, we regret that we can't be everywhere at once. We're working on it. I also like to point out we are not forcing you to distribute your app through Google Play. You can choose another market if that's the way you want to monetize your app. We have an open ecosystem, and you're free to do that.
No, I know that's not the ideal answer. But the ideal answer would be we supported merchants in all the countries, but Google Wallet is rolling out. Okay.
So we have a question in sidebar from Richard Thompson.
Richard.
So Richard correctly points out that the Android design guidelines recommend a 16 dip margin on the sides of your screen, but he asks, what is the recommended padding for the top and bottom, as demonstrated by Rich, and keep that what top and bottom is. So I would probably say depends on what you're showing, is commonly the answer. So if you're showing like a list view, for example, I think that same screen on metrics and rhythms will recommend, the recommended line height with 8 dips above and below, so you fall into the standard 48 dip rhythm. So that's one thing. If you're not kind of going for content straight away, you might want to echo the 16 dip margin you have on the left and right to give it an even feel. It kind of really depends on your content. So I'd say.
Yeah, personally, I'd say if you've got an action bar at the top, then the top is well defined. You have 0 margin above that, and the list is going to drill straight through the bottom of the screen. If you had any, or whatever it is, the content will go straight through the bottom of the screen. So if you had any margin there, it might be slightly confusing to the user that the UI is ending before.
Yeah, because the list item itself includes padding within it.
Right.
You'd want it hard against, but if you had a button as the first thing under the action bar, you wouldn't put that hard up against the action bar. I'd probably go with the 16 dips.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's nice to have it consistent.
Work with your designer on it.
Awesome design. Sebastian's jumped in. Great. Richard says thank you. And Sebastian says, I live in Venezuela and we have had restrictions to use foreign currencies. We have hard restrictions to use foreign currencies. Is there a possibility for us to sell our apps in local currency in Play? Would we go on and create a local market?
Sort of just addressed that.
Sort of what, Sparky?
So we kind of just talked through that one when we were.
Venezuela is going to be a merchant country either, so you can't sell your apps in Google Play until we support Venezuela as a merchant country. Unless that's not the case, and it is, in which case it already is not currency. Yes, you can create a local market. You potentially sell it through the operator stores if there are any, or you can put it on Google Play and monetize through different means, maybe advertising. But the monetization option, direct monetization on Google Play, isn't open to non-merchant countries.
I think one of the other problems is Venezuela is actually listed as a Play Store able to sell paid applications. I don't know if he's having issues with the fact of foreign exchange rules in Venezuela and selling in things like US dollars and stuff like that may cause legal problems. I think the only way around that is for the developer just to select Venezuela as the only country they sell to as well.
Yeah, Venezuela is listed as a merchant country, and you have restrictions on selling in foreign countries. Then, yeah, you have to also obey by your country's laws and regulations. And now, Paul and Al are both typing.
We have another person joined us whose name I cannot pronounce, but he's got a feather in his hair, but I looked it up. Hello.
Nicola.
Featherman.
Hey, Nicola. Yeah, if you have any questions, now would be a good time to ask them. In the meantime, thanks for posting those links, Al and Paul. Paul's just posted a link to the Stack Overflow issue with NFC, and Al supported the supported countries link.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, do we have any more moderator questions if there's nothing live in the room?
Plenty of them.
We do. I'm trying to get back to you guys. I've sort of lost your window.
You've lost our window.
Come back.
There you are. There you are. This is the link to the merchant countries, of which I regret to say Venezuela is not one, and for the record, neither is India.
Is the link that you posted, Al, the link of countries that you can sell apps in, as opposed to the links you can sell them from?
It's where you can sell them from. It's the Google Play for Developers supported locations for distributing applications.
That's where you can sell them to, not sell them from.
What the last section says, the developers in these locations may also sell paid applications to users in the rest of the world.
I'll look at the two links down here. I can't click on them on the screen from that window up there. But I know there's certainly 3 different sections in that document. If it's one with about 31 countries, then that's the merchant list. If it's one with 130 countries, then that's the countries you can sell apps into, and then everything else is...
It looks like the 31 list, but if you have a look and can let us know, that'd be cool.
Yeah, sure. Not that I can Google it. Do you want to run to the next question, Sparky?
Sure. We looked at that one. Johan Pelgrim in the Netherlands says, let's say I add some state to an activity via an intent extra and my activity is destroyed. When the user navigates back to my activity, can I depend on the framework to reuse the original intent to start it, i.e. will the intent extra be there? He says, to elaborate, can I depend on the original intent extra, or do I need to save it using on-save instance state or something like that? Which of course would mean trying to retrieve it from the extra, etc. So, and he can't be in the Hangouts, so we're free to talk about it without him. We can say nasty things about him and he'll never know until he watches the replay. So my answer to him, at least the moderator, was it depends on how the activity was exited. If it just got pushed down the stack by some other activities being open on top of it, then I think the original intent is still there. But if the user presses the back button, then the activity is destroyed, and I think it's going to take a whole new intent to get it back again. Does that sound right to you guys?
Yeah, if you want things to be like saved and passed in when recreated, then use on-save instance state, because that's what it's for.
An orientation change will also kill off any extras, won't it?
Yep. Tear it all down and create it again.
Okay then.
A few new joiners. We got Jeff has joined us, and
What's Jeff said then? Oh, I thought it said Jeff Android. That would have been amazing.
oh, Jeff asked in the sidebar there, can we add the information about padding? I don't know, because it's really a it depends answer.
So the one that's fixed is the side padding. We've put that in the design guidelines, but the top and bottom is yeah.
I would. It seems to me like we have kind of set a precedent of having an 8-dip design rule. So you should, at the very least, try to separate things by 8 dips. That kind of feels right to me. Really takes me back to when we were designing computer chips. You know, you get your minimum feature size and everything's in multiples of that. I think our minimum feature size here is 8 dips.
Maybe.
At least.
I can't wait. I just can't wait for the future when we start using VLSI design tools for writing software.
Oh, Paul also asked in the sci-fi if you can ask another question.
Yeah, I've got a question about the wallet. Just while people were talking, just thought, is there a provision for like storing tickets on the wallet, or how does that bit work if you want to sell third-party tickets or something?
Nope, there isn't.
It's just purely payments, is it?
As I understand it.
And it's only payments from approved card approvers. It's not sort of payments anyone can add anything to.
Okay, so if you're making a payment to say sell a ticket to an event, it's up to you what you do with that ticket and how you deal with it. It's not tied to the wallet in any way.
Correct.
Okay, so there's no sort of encryption or authentication or needing the person's purchase at that stage tied to that at all. Okay, so it's completely open.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the room, or should we crack on with the moderator?
I see that we've been joined by Jitendra. Does Jitendra have anything to ask? No Android client for the Google Plus Video Hangout. Yeah, I mean, it's not a purely Hangout, right? It's this Google Live. It's a YouTube live stream. I thought I heard from one of our developers that he could see it.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can use the Plus client. There's no Android client for Google Plus Video.
Yeah, I've had it running. I had some issues with sound, but that's probably more my network bandwidth than anything else.
Hey, it's just YouTube. It's the client, right? You just open YouTube and go to the live section, and we should be right there.
There's that, and there's also you can join in with the Hangouts on air from the Google Plus client on Android.
Okay, yeah, it should work on handsets.
So yeah, Jeff says it works on his tablet, but not on his HTC Evo 4G. So I guess it's going to depend upon which version of the YouTube application you're running.
Ooh, unsupported video format.
So we've seen that before. Basically, YouTube spits out the live stream in a variety of formats, and it can take a little while before it spits out the mobile-friendly one, which is why we're trying to start the Hangout a little bit before we're actually going to start broadcasting, and then only turn it on live. So it might just be a case of checking back a little bit later. Sorry about that. It's kind of just how YouTube works.
So you think it's just a processing pipeline delay then, essentially?
That's one of the potential issues that you can give that answer. The other thing I was thinking could be if you had an older version of YouTube for some reason, then that might not support the Hangouts on air as well. So check to make sure you got the latest version.
Generally, we don't follow the YouTube comments, Jeff, live. We check them out afterwards. We usually follow the comments on the Google Plus posting for this live event, and also on the moderator.
Yeah.
The YouTube comments aren't quite the same quality.
There's many places people post comments, and YouTube Live seems to be the lowest.
Yeah, I could see having somebody follow the YouTube comments if we were able to devote a person to monitor the streams, as opposed to having everybody on camera all the time. I don't know if our viewers are aware of this, but when you look at the Hangouts that are run by the California team, they've got so many guys over there that they've always got one or two people off camera producing the show. What you get here in EMEA is the entire Android DevRel organization on camera talking to you live. Hello.
Jeff makes a good point though. Like, so how does he ask questions? Do you have to kind of jump out the stream, go into the G Plus client or something? But, which is a fair point. So maybe we should start monitoring them somehow.
So far, there is only one question in the YouTube stream, and it's from
Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff. Could you add that?
Hey, Tal.
Hello, sorry for the late join. I forgot we changed time zones here. We're already in winter times.
You've already switched. We can't be far off switching. But, not quite yet.
Yeah.
Screws up all the calendars. Okay, on to the moderator.
Yeah, I was just looking at that moderator. Another couple of questions came trickling in while we were talking. Let's see. Let me scroll down to the right one. Any idea if it's possible to change the animation of a view pager to something other than a slide, i.e. an app drawer style overlapping transition?
Yeah, I mean, ViewPage is open source. If you've downloaded the support library, it's the source is even lying on your computer right now under Android SDK, extras, compatibility, Google something. You'll see it down there, support source. And you can put those words in any order, and it'll just be there, which is magic. I've looked through the source myself and played around with it. Yeah, you can.
It's incredibly readable, actually. I think I highly recommend everyone to take a look at the source of ViewPager because it's very, very readable, very well structured, and you can learn a lot. So yeah, good job, Adam Powell.
Good job, Adam Powell. Yeah, so you can look into there and play around with it, change the way it works, change animations if you really want to. It's already got the finger tracking built in, which is quite nice. So yes, you can.
Yeah, so I'd say you'd probably want to extend the ViewPager and change it rather than. I don't think there's a setting to change animation on the ViewPager. I think you're looking at creating your own widget, but yeah, I'd say like 95% of the work is done for you already if you start from ViewPager.
You could call it Draw Slider Pager or something. Draw Slider ViewPager.
Or if you want to look like the apps tray, why don't you look at the source code of the apps tray, which is in launcher2.git.
Excellent. What's the thing on?
Yeah. Is that the right Git? Launcher2? Is it still called that? I forget.
Thank you, Anon, for the question. One of our more popular contributors.
It is still Launcher 2.
Cheers. I was looking back at that link as well, Al, and that is the list of countries that you can sell apps into. The bit where it says developers in these countries may also sell to other countries. That in these countries is a link, and when you click on that, you see the 30 countries.
Ah, right, so that's not that list that's below that sentence.
Yeah, and then you get to the 30 which doesn't have Venezuela in it. It's
cool.
That's what I've posted.
Thanks for checking it out, Rich.
What's the 130? But, I'm looking into implementing the Android backup service in my app. It says,
Yay!
Yeah, right. More people should look into doing that.
I love that service.
But I can't find any examples on how to use SQL-like databases. Any ideas? Is there a SQL helper for the backup service?
I kind of thought the point of the backup service was for restoring devices.
Cheers, Jeff.
So, wouldn't you want to do it off device?
So the other backup service, yes, I think what he wants to do is, does he want to back up to a SQLite database or back up a SQLite database to the cloud?
Oh, I interpret it as the backup and restore service. Yeah, the thing that
too.
restores your shared preferences and whatnot when you log into a new device.
So he says I can't find examples on how to use it with SQLite databases, and that there is a confusion there. He may be talking about using the backup service to back up to a database, or use the backup service to back up a SQLite database to the cloud. Because both are possible.
I think he means the cloud service, not the ADB backup.
No, but the examples we have are file backup and shared preferences backup, right? And file backup actually backs up to a file on the SD card. So maybe he wants to back up to a SQLite. That would be silly. I think he's talking about synchronizing the SQLite database with the cloud.
Isn't part of the thing the issue that when you synchronize a backup, you've got no guarantee it's going to a SQL database, so there's no ability to translate a SQL database on the device directly to a SQL database in the cloud because you don't know that's where it's being stored. So he's going to need to write some kind of translator that puts it in the appropriate format anyway.
So,
and doing a generic one of those is going to be difficult because you need to make assumptions about the database.
he can blob it. If you just want to zap and overwrite the database on restore, which is fine with SQLite databases, you can just back up the blob of the SQLite database to the cloud, and then when you restore, just see if it's got just check time. Grab the latest one if it's due every morning.
Everyone is muted, Carl.
Yeah, a nicer way of doing it would be to synchronize the database, but then you've got to do exactly that. Figure out what data's changed, when it changed, and do the synchronizations. More like Gmail does it. When you hit the refresh, you see some emails just deleting, some appearing. Do you know that kind of thing? Someone just mute everyone else. As long as they
I think there's a muting war going on.
But in terms of I was looking for example code for it.
I don't know a good example of that.
Well, maybe we should have one. Yeah. Slightly tricky.
I'm also curious about what data you're trying to back up. If it's like a large SQL database, I'm not sure that's exactly what it's intended for. I think it's more for like backing up configurations and settings and so on and so forth. such that if you accidentally step on your device and smash the screen and get a new one, when you log in, everything's the same as you left it.
There's a Stack Overflow question which shows a very quick way of backing up a whole SQLite database as a blob. I'll stick a link to that in the comments of this post.
That's definitely going to be the easiest way. Anything else? I mean, you can almost just look at the shared preferences backup helper, the source for that, and it'll give you a good idea of what you've got to do. It's a little bit tricky. If you want to do the synchronization as well of each individual's database item. Okay.
I see we've got a couple new people in the Hangout. We've got Amit has joined and Jordy has joined. So welcome to the Hangout, guys. If you have anything that you want to discuss regarding Android application development, please let us know. Does anyone know how to skip to a particular point in a YouTube video, the mobile app? Ooh. I understand you can embed that in the URL. I don't know if you can do it.
And I think the problem
API-wise.
reading between the lines is anything which is broadcast on YouTube Live infrastructure doesn't let you use the scrubber, the little progress bar to skip ahead. Especially if you're actually watching a live broadcast, you can't do that. I believe.
I want the future, damn it.
No, you can't skip back to like earlier.
No, you can't. No, it's true.
Live restart or anything like that.
There's a limitation of the YouTube Live mobile at the moment. It's just a stream going through it.
But I think after a period of time, once YouTube processes it, then it becomes a regular video. Like the recording after this will become a regular YouTube video, and at some point you'll be able to scrub back and forwards, but not for the first day or so.
Yeah, it's definitely a while after, because I've checked, certainly an hour or two after, and it still just has the play through the entire live show as an option. But if you go to the web version, then you can scrub backwards and forwards. I was trying to continue to watch some broadcasts on my phone, but I couldn't skip to where I got to on my PC. Yeah, that's a current limitation of watching a YouTube live video on the YouTube mobile client. You have to go back to... You may be able to get away with it if you've got Flash installed. You might be able to go to the web browser and go through there and not let YouTube launch it. You may be able to go forward to the right point in the video through the browser.
We need to add that. I mean, sort of like Chrome Sync, where you can bookmark something on your PC and have it show up on your Mac, or Google Maps, where you can star something on one, have it show on the other. You need to have that with YouTube too. Just push my video from my phone straight to my desktop and keep watching.
That works very well with the...
It works from phone to tablets with Beam, right? That's really sweet.
And the Nexus Q, you can just bring it tablet, TV, tablet, up and down, and it syncs the position.
Mm-hmm.
And Amit has reposted his question. I was going to say there was one in the sidebar. You want to read it out, Rich?
Will Google App Engine be a good option instead of Amazon Web Services? A good question. Yes. Okay, there's more. For writing, reading data with low latency when we have thousands of users performing read-write to server. The issue is when data is shredded and the response time needs to be very small. Will Google App Engine handle something like Instagram? Do we have any use cases similar to it?
We've got memcache, right? So your default method of saving things in App Engine is data store, which of course is shared by all the different front ends that are accessed, all the different front end instances that are serving your app, and then you've got memcache, which keeps things in memory. It's like it sounds. It's small, fast, low latency. So I would say yes. There you go.
Recommend that you go to the office hours of the apps team.
The cloud.
If you go to developers.google.com/live, the cloud team have office hours. This is the Android office hours, so we're not going to really answer questions on their products. But you can go to their office hours and ask them about it, and they'll give you some really detailed answers on exactly that use case.
They'll tell you yes.
They'll tell you yes, but they'll also tell you how to do it. I hope. So yeah, Amit, have a look.
But they'll have a reason why. Better than us.
Developers.google.com/live. And then look for cloud.
/cloud/maybe.
Al says, big tables are your friend. You can put lots of things on a big table. We have 6 comments on the thread.
Oh, yeah.
They're from Al, who's just put a look at it. Why from the Google Plus Android app can't we follow the Hangout? Okay. They're all also being reposted, and we've already answered. Back to the moderator.
Yeah, we've got one of the moderator. This is a little bit forward-looking. He says, when are you guys going to straighten out HTML5 video for Android? Video events do not behave as documented. Methods do not respond as documented. Can you make this a priority? I can't. I'm sure the browser team can. My follow-up questions to him were, what version of Android are you on, and are you seeing it, for example, in the full browser or in the web view? I would say, generally speaking, you'll probably see the correct functionality in the browser first, and if it's not correct now, by all means, please let us know, because the full browser should be about as good as Chrome.
With the Nexus 7, it only came shipped with the Chrome browser, so Android web browser development ongoing is from the Chrome team. I imagine that it's working fine with Chrome on Android. If it's not, then I'm sure that it's very important to them to ensure that it is soon. Chrome is updated outside of the Android cycles, so you can get an update for it at any point.
And file bugs.
And file bugs. Feedback. Actually, that's a very good point. If you are using the latest version of Chrome for Android and you're seeing this issue, please do file a bug. If you're using a previous variant of Android, then unfortunately you have to wait for your firmware update until it gets to Ice Cream Sandwich, and then you can install Chrome. Okay.
Yeah. In terms of development priorities, going forward, definitely Chrome on Android is where the activity is, and the pre-Chrome Android browser, although also a WebKit browser, is not going to get as much attention.
I've heard that Chrome is shipping on one of the new Motorola devices as part of the Google Apps suite. So,
where on earth have you heard that from? Did you see it in the Motorola keynote the other day?
Yeah. That seems like quite an interesting thing to see happen. Does that mean that future devices are going to have it, or it's a future statement? I know you guys can't comment, but
no,
do
it's
you?
an interesting thing. I don't know when other manufacturers launch Jelly Bean devices, whether they'll be replacing their any browser with Chrome or I don't know.
Okay.
Well, you know, in the Galaxy Nexus, they didn't kill the default web browser. It's still there in Jelly Bean.
Yeah, Nexus 7 was the first device to be Chrome only.
Yeah, that's because it was an upgrade for Nexus, not a Nexus 7. You know, the first time out of the box, we could do that, but you don't want to remove an app from a user's phone just because they installed an upgrade. I think that would be a pretty bad experience.
You'd have to delete all your bookmarks and everything.
Well, but you can add the Google Chrome, not to remove the browser, but to add the new browser.
That's what they did, yeah.
They add.
Is Chrome for Android still in beta, or is it moved to a production release?
Let me see. Menu. There's no about, but there's a help, which takes you to the web. Just takes to Chrome help. I don't think it is, no.
I thought it was out of beta.
All right.
It's called Chrome for mobile. It doesn't say.
It's very good.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing that suggests it's beta.
Cool.
Okay. And yes, it is very good. Next question. Did you read that question at the bottom?
Next muffin.
The next question, the moderator, yes. Date picker dialog displays correctly in ICS if Android theme is set to Android theme.light. But if it is set to Android style/theme.noTitleBar, date picker dialog displays as if in the previous Android versions. I'm using dialog, fragment, and support live.
That sounds.
There's not really a question there.
That sounds like it's working as intended to me, because theme.light, if you're running on ICS, should be aliased to theme.hollow.light. So I would expect to see the hollow styling, the ICS styling, whereas the theme. No title bar, that's a pre-hollow style. So I would expect it to look pre-hollow.
I'd say you need to go to theme.hollow.light.noTitleBar to get what you're looking for.
Now, if I remember correctly, and I'm sure you guys know, if you set a theme with no title bar, then you lose your hollow action bar. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So don't do that.
Well, maybe you want a full screen gallery or something.
It's talking about a dialogue, though, right? So.
Or a dialogue, yeah. It's fine. Yeah, but look for theme.hollow.light.noTitleBar. I believe it's there. Pretty sure.
Yeah, just be explicit about it, wanting the hollow styling. I think you were just implicitly getting it by targeting theme.light before, but be explicit about it, and you will get the expected result.
Excellent.
I don't know if it's just that I'm a huge fan of hollow or if I'm lazy, but I never set styles on my applications.
What?
I want the system default all the time.
There was an interesting app in one of the app review sessions that actually had an option in the overflow menu that allowed you to change between hollow light and hollow dark. And that seems to be quite interesting.
Which that was one of the timer ones that Rita and Ian looked at.
Yeah. I mean, what are your guys' feelings on that? Do you like to see it? Would you not like to see it?
Personally,
I like it in book readers.
Yeah, I think there's a subset of cases where it's useful, but I don't generally like too many settings. The whole just make it a setting thing is a bit, as like techie developer type people, we love it. Like we love being able to twiddle all the knobs and change everything. But if you ever watch real users use your app and look at the look of bewilderment on their face when they see too many options, then I think it's a good thing to minimize choice to go with a sensible default.
Sometimes it makes sense for widgets as well, because you don't know what kind of color background or wallpaper the user's going to have. So it's quite nice to theme for widgets. I often choose the transparent ones or the darker ones sometimes and switch it when I have a lighter background because it just looks nicer. So be aware of the context the application is going to be shown in.
Or another thing might be if you do have a settings page, consider breaking out your settings into like the common core settings and like an advanced section, something like that, so they're not completely overwhelming for more casual users.
Yeah, personally I prefer no settings where possible.
Yeah,
you should make the right choices on their behalf.
I've been a believer for a number of years that offering an excess of configurations and settings basically is just abdicating your responsibility as a designer, and that the difference between a really good system or app and a not so good one is when the designers really think things all the way through and make the best decision for most of the people. It's just like you said, an excessively flexible system is a chaotic one and just leaves people looking bewildered. And you can look to, for example, the major competing desktop platforms and see which one made the really, really detailed design decisions and thought things all the way through to the end, and which ones just said, well, let's just make everything an option. We can support 17 different ways to shut down the system because there's different users for each one, and it kind of makes nobody happy.
Yeah, and Android provides a lot of facilities for taking that responsibility away from the user. If you're going to be storing data in your application, make the conscious decision whether you're storing it as cache or data locally or data on the SD card, and let the system manage that cache. Need to scrub it if it needs to scrub it. Maybe it will disappear, but something like Google Plus, I've just checked on my tablet, is using 200 megs in the cache, but only about 5 megs of its SD card data outside of that. So if it needs to be recovered, it can, and the app will still work properly. But what you don't want is a little slider in the app saying how much data you want to use as a setting. Just position the data correctly so the system can deal with it.
Okay. Oh, we have questions? Anyone got any? Come on, hit us.
Didn't someone say they were going to stump us with a question?
Well, it's not straight a development question. It's more like on the Android system itself. I went a bit, wanted to see the new version. The Galaxy S3 started getting Jelly Bean.
Yep.
And during the update through the Samsung program called Kies, the computer shut it down by the update. And now the device is not really wanting to turn on. Any ideas how I get back up and running?
Oh no! So you were flashing your device through Samsung keys, and the computer shut down during the flash?
Yeah.
How?
Can you get to the bootloader?
Yeah, can you do volume down and power or anything?
Well, I can get to download mode and recovery and to the bootloader, so yeah. I can get to all of the...
I mean, there you can connect it to fastboot.
So that should be sufficient for communication to the device. You can get to the bootloader, so you should be able to just reflash it again, right?
No, because it came from the key, so I don't have the actual ROM.
No, but you should be able to connect it to keys, and keys should be able to see it.
I tried, the case doesn't recognize the phone.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Is that when it's in fastboot, or is that when it's in bootloader? Maybe.
Just when I turn it on, it tries to find the device. It shows this loading thing, but doesn't actually find it. and in bootloader I see it, but the keys doesn't find it. I do the fastboot devices and it sees it, but not the...
Fastboot, you can reboot it into the bootloader, right?
Yes, from fastboot I can get to the bootloader, but I need the actual ROM in order to flash it.
So Keys doesn't see it from fastboot or bootloader?
No.
And you've tried doing a factory reset, erase data, all that kind of thing?
I can, because it doesn't boot up to the... It doesn't have an OS because it crashed on halfway writing the new update, so there's nothing to erase.
To ADB and fastboot?
Yeah. Well, I think, the best thing I thought is to flash, to go to Sam Mobiles and download the ROM and then try to flash it and then hope for the best.
Cyanogen ROM for it.
Well, I can try Cyanogen mode also, yeah, that might work.
I've heard of that before. I mean, I've heard of people using, is it Clockwork? Is that the bootloader that
Clockwork
to
tablet.
rescue non-cyanogen devices?
If you can get it into Odin mode, Keys should report it. If you have a chat with Samsung support, they should talk you through that, because Odin mode's their equivalent to fastboot, and it's what Keys talks to it using.
Okay, so I need to practice my German a little bit.
Either that or Google Translate and post in the forums.
True. Okay. Thank you.
It's a shame, though.
It's going to be a fun day.
Yeah.
Well, but it happens sometimes.
I don't know, I probably flash maybe 5 or 6 times a day.
I always flash from a laptop.
Well,
Plugged into the power with a full battery charge. I know it's one of those things that everybody says and nobody really takes any notice, but I've seen too many devices bricked to take the risk.
well, the advantage of the Nexus devices, when you flash stuff, it's much easier to do it than any other devices.
Yes, of course.
And there are also factory images quite widely available for the Galaxy Nexus and Nexus devices from Google.
Nexus.
Yes, there's a lot of it's very easy. It's basically it's like 2 commands, I think, then flash and then off you go. I've got the Cyanogen 10 on the Galaxy Nexus, and it's quite amazing what they did there.
Good. What do you mean? Have you got any examples?
Again, as you said, it's more like for the geek stuff, so there's a lot more settings. As you said,
Sparky, relax. I can see Sparky sort of twinging at the word more settings.
Yeah, a lot more settings, but the advantage is it recognizes a lot of more APNs, for mobile data and stuff like that. For new mobile companies that started here in Israel about 2 months ago and not have been updated to the Android official OS, and also it's not an issue anymore, but the Hebrew stuff also is there, so it's also an advantage.
It also has an interesting SMS reply thing using rich notifications, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It shows you, and then you can press it. And
so your rich notification tells you got an SMS, and you can use one of the buttons to get a dialog box and reply to that SMS straight away without going into the SMS app.
Yes, and also you can actually see, since to rich notifications, you can see the message itself, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
And Google Now also, which is a very nice thing to have.
Okay.
All right, so if there's no more Android dev questions, maybe we'll wrap up 5 minutes early and give you all 5 minutes back into your day.
Can do, or I've just seen announced by Sony a competition for the UK to develop games with a £25,000 prize.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
So it's apparently deadlines for submission is the end of October. I'll post a link in the comments for this hangout, and maybe some people will be able to write some cool games, and we'll see what they come up with.
Richard Thompson just quickly asked if he's still in, whether anyone knows about updates for the IO Edition Galaxy tabs. The IO Edition Galaxy tabs did get onto the main update stream at some point, and Samsung just haven't announced when they're going to roll out the 3G updates yet. They're only doing the Wi-Fi's. So when they do the updates for the 3G variants as well, I'd expect
Galaxy Tab Wi-Fi?
They had announced updates for Galaxy Tab 2, right? Is that right?
Yeah, the Galaxy Tab 1 doesn't get Jelly Bean. They said it's...
No, they already started rolling the Galaxy Tab 1 Jelly Bean update up. Oh, Ice Cream Sandwich, sorry, update. We're still talking about Ice Cream Sandwich for the
they just
Galaxy Tab.
announced Jelly Bean update for Galaxy Tab.
Galaxy Tab 2 got Jelly Bean update, but Galaxy Tab 1, they announced the
ICS.
ICS update for the Wi-Fi variant. None of my Galaxy tabs have been updated yet, but hopefully they'll announce one for the rest of the variants at some point.
Well, but they are getting better at sending the updates. If you look, for example, on Jelly Bean, it's been out for what, about 2 months, something like that, and they already have it on the Galaxy S3. They are starting to have it on the Galaxy S3.
I'm really pleased to see that.
The migration from Ice Cream Sandwich to Jelly Bean, I think, is much easier for companies as well than it was from.
I saw
Honeycomb
Transformer
to
Prime, Jelly Bean update, started shipping.
And there was also the announcement at I/O about the PDK, the platform development kit, which is shipping to big OEMs ahead of an actual release, so that they get a chance to run up to speed before it hits before a release gets out to the public.
Yep.
Which is cool to see.
Yes, hopefully helps.
Yeah, anything we can do to help those update cycles be shorter, and that's great news.
Okay. Yeah, I remember between Gingerbread and ICS, it was a very big time span between when Google actually released it and when the devices actually got it.
Yeah, this was a massive update. They're far more incremental these days. All right, everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. And we'll be back same time next week, hopefully from our studio.
Bye, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.